The American Revolution, the birth of a nation. The American Revolution was a period of political and social upheaval in the United States that began in 1775 and lasted until 1783. It was a conflict between the American colonists and the British government, which sought to impose taxes and other restrictions on the colonists. The American Revolution was a result of a long series of events and grievances that had been building up over the years. Causes. The most immediate cause of the American Revolution was the imposition of the Stamp Act of 1765. This act required all printed materials, including newspapers, pamphlets, and legal documents, to be printed on paper that had been stamped with a tax stamp. This was the first direct tax imposed on the colonists by the British government, and it was met with strong resistance. The colonists also resented the British government's attempts to control their trade. The Navigation Acts of 1651 and 1660 had been designed to protect British merchants and manufacturers by restricting the colonists' ability to trade with other countries. The colonists felt that these laws were unfair. They also felt that the British government was not respecting their rights as British citizens. The Proclamation of 1763, which prohibited the colonists from settling west of the Appalachian Mountains, was seen as an infringement on their rights. The Quartering Act of 1765, which required the colonists to provide housing and supplies for British soldiers, was also seen as an infringement on their rights. The colonists also felt that the British government was not listening to their grievances. The British government had refused to repeal the Stamp Act and the other laws that the colonists found oppressive. This led to the formation of the First Continental Congress in 1774, which was a meeting of representatives from the colonies to discuss their grievances and to plan a unified response. The Battle of Lexington and Concord. This was a pivotal event in the American Revolutionary War. It was the first major battle of the war, and it marked the beginning of the American Revolution. The battle began on April 19, 1775, when British troops marched from Boston to Concord, Massachusetts, in order to seize a cache of weapons and ammunition that the colonists had stored there. The colonists had been warned of the British advance, and they had prepared for battle. When the British arrived in Lexington, they were met by a group of colonial militia who were determined to defend their rights. The British troops opened fire on the colonists, and the Battle of Lexington and Concord began. The colonists were outnumbered and outgunned, but they fought bravely and managed to hold off the British for a short time. Eventually, the British troops were forced to retreat, and the colonists were victorious. It was a major turning point in the American Revolution. It showed the colonists that they could stand up to the British, and it inspired them to continue their fight for independence. The battle also demonstrated the importance of unity and cooperation among the colonists, and it helped to unite them in their struggle for freedom. Historically, it is remembered as one of the most important battles of the American Revolution. It was a crucial victory for the colonists, and it helped to set the stage for the eventual victory of the American Revolution. Independence. The Declaration of Independence is a document that was adopted by the Second Continental Congress on July 4, 1776. It declared the 13 American colonies to be independent from the British Empire and established the United States of America as a sovereign nation. The document was written by Thomas Jefferson and was signed by representatives from each of the colonies. The Declaration of Independence is one of the most important documents in American history. It set forth the ideals of freedom and democracy that have become the foundation of the United States. The document states that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It also states that governments derive their power from the consent of the governed, and that it is the right of the people to alter or abolish a government if it fails to protect their rights. The Declaration of Independence was a bold statement of the colonies' desire for freedom from British rule. It was a declaration of war against the British Empire and a call to arms for the American people. The document was a rallying cry for the American Revolution and helped to unite the colonies in their fight for independence. Today, it is still relevant. It serves as a reminder of the importance of freedom and democracy and the power of the people to shape their own destiny. It's a reminder that governments must be held accountable to the people they serve, and that the rights of the people must be protected. The Declaration of Independence is a powerful symbol of the American spirit and a reminder of the courage and determination of the American people. The Articles of Confederation and the Treaty of Paris. In 1781, the British-American forces signed the Articles of Confederation, which established a new government for the United States. This government was based on the principles of democracy and was designed to protect the rights of the citizens. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially ending the American Revolution. The treaty recognized the United States as an independent nation and granted it the right to govern itself. The treaty also established the borders of the United States and granted the United States fishing rights in the Atlantic Ocean. The American Revolution was a long and difficult struggle, but it ultimately resulted in the establishment of a new nation. The United States was now an independent nation, and it was free to pursue its own destiny. The American Revolution was a major turning point in the history of the United States, and it helped to shape the nation into what it is today.